Hey Gearfax friends, as you can see, I've got a big one. It's the Kawai FS2000 Superboard. Okay, front panel, we've got pitch bend and modulation at the bottom left there. The big dial sitting there just begging you to ask what it's for. Well, that's the arrangement expander. Turning that to the left diminishes the intensity of an arrangement, and turning it to the right brings in all of the instruments, drum hits and all the extra nuances that simply make the style big. Gimmick or useful, we will come back to that. Scrolling up, we've got what appears to be a large speaker with a radically over-engineered grille, but I suspect really it's just a 4 or 5 inch driver behind there and probably nothing remarkable. Scrolling down a little bit, we've got the on and volume controls there. 2 controls for left and right sound input, and you can also add reverb using the second last slider there. The final slider is to add reverb for the keyboard signal. So it's good to know that you could plug in a microphone, sing along with a bit of reverb, and also have a controllable amount of reverb for the keyboard itself. The 3 grey buttons, those are our 3 effects that we have available: chorus, sustain, and duet. Debatable about whether those last 2 are really effects, but we do have our reverb as well, so really that's 4 ways that we can change our sound. There's a kind of a fishbone series of switches there. Those are for mixing parts of an accompaniment in and out, so it's very big on accompaniments, this keyboard. The coloured ones are the keys to put the keyboard into various different modes, and then our keypad, and it gets really interesting down the end. We have our synthesizer controls as well as the drum pads. Last and definitely least, we've got a disk drive. I still remember when keyboards with disk drives were incredibly impressive. Okay, now let's see what this synthesizer can do. Okay, well, sound edit comes up on the display, so that's a good start. And you can run through various sound editing options by pressing the keys corresponding to what's written above them. Bear in mind that you can edit 2 voices as a layered pair, so if I press vibrato depth, for example, and go ahead and adjust that, I can press vibrato depth again to get my second layer and adjust its vibrato. Same with speed, the coarse and fine tuning, attack, decay, sustain, release, and I can also try out the envelope that I've created with any wave on the keyboard. I especially like this function because I could run through the 120 or so waves that it has to choose from, and as I explore them it'll retain all the other envelope parameters exactly as I've set them. A lot of synthesizers, when you change the wave, will restore the default parameters that came with that particular wave, but the FS2000 doesn't, and I really like that. by popular demand, we're going to try out some beats and accompaniments and see how good this arrangement manager function really is. It's okay, I guess. I like the way the arrangement is visually monitored in this display up here. I'll just turn it on to show how it starts. And as I set my levels, the LEDs move with it. It has virtually no functional value, of course, but who doesn't love LED lights? The display is a very simple one-line LCD readout, but it's informative, functional and practical. On the back we've got power in, a big 15 volts DC power supply. There's the headphone socket. The microphone socket is just a 3.5mm jack. So it has to be said that's not particularly mic friendly, but there is a stereo line in here and you could of course easily route a microphone in using a mixer. There's our left and right lines out. And going down past the big Kawai logo, it gets quite interesting. 4 sockets here. These I think are designed to take a pedal unit or 4 separate pedals. And the markings would imply that you can mix parts in and out of accompaniments using those pedals. There's also a socket for the arrangement expander, which suggests to me that you could use an expression pedal to cover the functionality of that big dial on the front, which would be useful if both hands were very busy playing. And right at the end, it's great to see that we've got MIDI in, out and through. Okay, we've got our MIDI sequencer set up. There's the connection at the back. Let's see how it communicates. Analog strings. I do love this patch. Okay, last feature I'm going to talk about, and this will be of interest to many of you. Apart from the drum pads, we also have a pattern maker, so we can not only develop our own rhythms, but we can even create an entire accompaniment. So there it is, tricky to use, and I haven't found any kind of quantize function, which certainly for me, as you just saw, is a very big issue. But it's a good feature, useful and fun. So my final thoughts on the FS2000, well, it's an enormous retro rush to play it, there's no doubt about that. It's got a good set of stock sounds and it's got a few effects and some synthesizer capability, but I just wish it had more of all of that. Considering it was meant to be kind of a high-end keyboard in its time, it's a little bit disappointing that it couldn't do more sonic acrobatics. Anyway, I'm still glad I tried it out. Kawai FS2000, thanks for watching Gear Facts. Please share with anybody else you reckon might be interested. Have a great day.